you don't just have to learn lessons from like human beings and like personal experiences with other humans, you know what I mean? Like you can also learn lessons from animals, like nature, period, just anything with energy. And like I said in the other video, like plants and trees and insects, like there's a bunch of different things like with energy that you can learn lessons from. I can give an example about like a butterfly or something, like as if I was to see a butterfly and how I would respond to that in that situation. Because it's a thing like most people don't really think about that. It's not a natural habit that people have built up. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. Here's one of the best examples of how nature can really teach you something, translate something where it would actually make sense. So I'm sitting here outside right now, and there was like this really big butterfly. I think it's actually still up there. I can show you real quick. So this is the butterfly that, oh, it's not there. Okay, well, I can insert a picture. There was this really big butterfly that like kept flying around, and I have not seen a butterfly in a very, very long time. Like the state that I live in, it's like when I was younger, there used to be butterflies everywhere. This is all gonna tie in and it's all gonna make sense. So there used to be butterflies everywhere when I was younger, and then like as I got older, they're just like not as, you know, much, I guess, as many. I saw a couple of them, like little small like white butterflies, but long story short, so the big yellow butterfly, it was flying around me. It wasn't exactly like super close, but it was kind of close to the point where like I wanted to like, you know, stick my finger out to see if it will like come to me or not. And it landed on one of these leaves right here. And so I walked over there, and as I was getting ready to reach, you know, I stopped myself and I had to really like sit there and think about that. I was like, you was really about to touch this butterfly, and it's like that butterfly did not ask you to touch it, because it's a sense of like, you see it has wings, it can move around. It was flying around me, but it didn't land on me because it didn't want to, you know what I mean? If it wanted to be touched, it definitely would have landed on my hand. Look at, okay, I don't know if you saw that, hopefully you did, but that's another one. But the other one that I was talking about was super huge. Again, I'm gonna insert some pictures. It's a natural thing whenever you see something beautiful to want to you're drawn to it. It's something that catches your attention. It's something that is attracting your attention. It is attractive to you. And that does not mean in a sexual sense. Attraction just means, just like when you think about positive and negative magnets and they attract to each other, that sort of things. It's something, it's magnetic. It's something that draws you to it. And that's what was happening to me with the butterfly. And I wanted to touch the butterfly because I was so drawn to it, but I didn't allow myself to touch it because the butterfly didn't allow me to touch it as well. Or at least it didn't give me permission to. To me, the butterfly giving me permission would have been something like it actually landing on my hand when I reached it out, or, you know, landing on my shoulder or landing on my leg, something similar, or in my hair, or whatever it is. You know, just because you find something beautiful or something is attractive to you, you're drawn to something, something's very magnetic, the energy's very alluring to you, is not permission to, you know, make contact with it. I respect that butterfly's personal space. I respect that butterfly as a living being, you know what I mean? That butterfly has a choice whether or not it wants me to invade its space or not, or if it wants me in its space or wants me to make contact with it or not. You know, just because it can't talk, just because, you know, it's not taking its little legs and dancing around and stuff like that, you know, other things that would make it more like relatable to a human being, you know, doesn't make it any less of a living creature. It's still alive. And even though I'm not exactly sure of how the anatomy works of the butterfly, like if they think, if they have brains, at the end of the day, they're still alive. They have energy within them. They're moving around. That's clear proof that it's alive. It eats, you know, different things like that. It releases different things. It transforms. It has transformations just like humans do as well, you know, in that sense, because it was a caterpillar, you know, it went through different trial and error, and then it turned into a butterfly, you know, it blossomed into a new version of itself. So in that sense, that's another thing that you could relate to like a human being, because it happens with us too. We go through different things and trial and error, and we use everything that we've learned and incorporate that into like the new version of ourselves, and that's what we end up becoming along this journey. But I just thought that was very important, because I feel like there's some people that will see things that are beautiful, like other human beings that are beautiful, and feel that that's enough for you to like just go out of your way to like make contact with someone without their permission, you know. And that's a respect thing too. It's like you can look at too, like situations like that, like it's not just about respecting a human being and respecting yourself, you know. You can respect nature as well. Situations like that where this living creature, also birds and everything, like whatever living animal that it is, and living anything, you know, you could ask permission as well. That's something else that I've done, like with trees, for example. I've definitely hugged a tree before, and I asked permission before. Now again, obviously the tree's not going to turn around and just start talking to me. Yeah, you can hug me, Shawnee, you know what I mean? But in that sense, I feel like that is more so they don't mind, you know what I mean? I feel like if it was a thing where the tree minded, like a branch or something would fall off, or a bunch of leaves or something, like something crazy, astronomical, but just asking permission, you know, and putting that out there, and then like afterwards, you know, you go and hug the tree if you want. Like nature is a part of us, we're a part of nature, it's all energy. But I just wanted to share that about the butterfly thing, because certain things, like it gets deeper than just, you know, because most people aren't gonna stop and think about that, you know, where maybe this butterfly doesn't want me to touch it, you know, because again, you don't think of it as something deserving of respect, because you don't see it as a living being. You don't see it as a living creature because of how small it is, and because of the things that you would say isn't as relatable. You know, you relate more to something like a dog or like a cat or a parrot, because, you know, they can talk and they can speak, you know, and obviously dogs bark and cats meow, but there's some dogs that can like bark something and it actually sound like they're saying words, you know, and they communicate by pressing the little buttons too, if you know about that. But those are animals that are more so relatable, and more so something you connect with because of how relatable. They're more comforting, I guess. You know, they do things that are similar to human behavior. You know, you can tell when a cat is sad or when it's down. You can tell when a cat is happy and it's excited. Same thing for the dog, excitement and sadness. You know, they show a lot of the same emotions that human beings do. So obviously that's something that resonates more and brings us closer to those animals versus something like a butterfly. You know, you can't tell when a butterfly is sad. You can't tell when a butterfly is excited. All you see, majority of people see about a butterfly is, you know, it was once a caterpillar, it turned into a butterfly, you know, was in the cocoon, like, you know, the changing stage, it was in the healing stage, you know, transformation stage, and then it finally blossomed into something new. But other than that, there's not very much else that a butterfly relates to human beings. But at the end of the day, it's still a living creature. And just think about yourself, whether you are a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. For example, I'll use an example. If you're a man, maybe you just came from like the gym or something, or maybe you're at the beach, and say that you worked out and you have like triceps, biceps, and like abs and stuff, and then there's women that will come up and just touch you just because they like how you look. And there are some men that would like that, you know what I'm saying, that are very attracted to that and they're okay with that. But there's some men that are not okay with that because it makes them uncomfortable and they didn't give you permission to touch them. And it's the same thing. We're all human beings, we all have our own bodies. And same thing with women, you know, just because a woman is dressed in something really nice, just because she has presented herself to be a certain type of way and it's something very alluring and attractive, that is not permission to go ahead and enter that field and make contact with this individual, especially if they didn't give you permission for it. And it's a thing of like respect, you know. If you know, you respect yourself, you respect nature. I just feel like if you practice doing different things like that, where again, the butterfly type thing, or just whatever it is, it's like that's a way to build up that respect for all living creatures. Think of it like this. Has there ever been a time where maybe if you know, presented yourself in a certain type of way, you wore a certain type of hairstyle, or you wore a certain type of clothing, where you put yourself together and you were very, you know, drawn and very like bright, and was something that was very attractive, like your physical appearance is attractive, but I mean, just say that overall, like you put everything together, and obviously like that was something that would make sense why people would be so drawn to you, because there was just something so beautiful about it, you know. And there were people that came to you and were either attempting to touch you, or maybe they did touch you, and obviously this is a situation where you didn't want them to, and they're just completely disrespecting you as a person by making that contact with you, whether or not they're like touching your shoulder and trying to play it off, or like trying to touch your leg and trying to play it off, you know, as something like it's normal, but the whole time it's really like they are not a person that respects you or themselves, and they also do not have any discipline or self-control, and so that's resulting in them with those types of behaviors. But anyway, think of like a situation like that, men, women, whatever, it doesn't matter, because we all experience that. How you would feel about that, it's the thing of like, if you wanted to be touched, you know, you would have initiated it first, or you would have said that that was okay for that person to do. But say that you've already gave signs that this is not something that is okay, and this person's doing it anyway just because they like how you look, so they want to touch you. It's a similar thing, you know. Ask yourself, you know, when you see this beautiful thing, like, are you the type of person that will go out of your way to touch it just because you think it's so beautiful, you know, or think it's so adorable, or you think it's so cute, or you just are so drawn to it? It's a similar thing. Like, things are more connected than what you think it is, and it's like the more that you become that type of person. And this is not to say that if these things happen that means that you are not that type of person, because there's some things that will happen just because there are people like that out there. But I'm just saying, more so if you're a person that knows that this is something that you have experienced, and you're just wanting more knowledge and education about like, how can you be more of a loving person? How can I be more of a respectful person? In what ways can I really, you know, express that respect that I have for living creatures and living beings? You know, that's one of the ways where it's like, even nature, you know, just because something is beautiful doesn't mean that you always have to go out of your way to touch it, because maybe it doesn't want to be touched, you know. And that doesn't make you a negative or disruptive or an evil person or any of those things. It's just a matter of like taking things and learning a lesson from them, you know. Men, women, it doesn't matter. And this isn't necessarily a thing of always trying to find the deeper meaning behind things. I know that some things just happen and they are what they are, but there really are a lot of things that you can like learn something from. Like, it's really not a joke when I say I learn something new every single day. It's completely the truth, and you can learn something new every single day. And the benefit to doing that is obviously new knowledge, you know, more knowledge that you have gained, but that's also a part of your journey. And I feel that all of that is contributed towards, you know, bringing you to the next level. You know, whenever you are still a person that is capable of learning new things, all of that is towards elevating yourself to your highest and your best version. And yeah, so if you resonated with anything that I spoke about, or if you found it interesting, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video reaches someone who may also need to hear this message. And just another quick note, I just used that example because, like, when things happen, you know, if you feel how you feel or whatever, you might be able to like stop and really think about that. Like, could there be something that I could learn from this? Because a lot of times there really is. You can literally learn something from anything. It's just a choice if you're gonna allow yourself to or not. But all right, thank you, bye.